boy, this is finna get bad. Y'all probably already seen it. It's finna get bad. Disclaimer, warning. The queen of the ghetto. The queen of the ghetto just went on the spew, not the view, the spew with the cackling hens. And oh, it's finna get bad. They said that the producer was sweating. He had to rush on set. They had to end the show early. They had to stop the show. It got that bad, y'all. So I gave you a warning, a disclaimer. I seen some of them pages come in with their bags. If you need a bag, they have to, we give them to you at the front door as soon as you walk in. Get your bag. You might get nauseated. You might need your bag. I'm telling you. We can't afford them cleaning supplies just yet. The Trump administration is working hard. We can't, but you know, it was a disgrace with this past administration. And we got to do a lot of cleaning, a lot of draining, a lot of remodeling right now. And that's happening. But get your bag, save you some money, save us some. We get them cleaning supplies is high. I'm telling you. Even if you go to the dollar store, they still tax you by 30%, 40%. I don't know what's going on with America and this corrupt scam matrix. But get your bag. I'm giving them out for free. You know, yeah, buddy. I got a bag for everybody because it's fun to get bad. Oh, we got to get into this, y'all. The queen of the ghetto. Oh, yeah. She got them eyelashes on. She got that wig on. Don't let them fall. Don't let it fall. One of your eyelashes is not centered on there correctly, ma'am. The glue is coming. She done melted the glue. We told you about buying all that money. And they oughta wipe her clean and give her an audit. I'm just saying. Yeah, Miss Crockett, we know. Your salary is $174,000. You worth a couple million, ma'am. So something ain't adding up. Something ain't adding up. And I can give you a big old audit. And we got a clip later on in this video, doing a little exposing, you know, with some of these Democrats and Maxine Waters, all of them. We don't just hold on, y'all. We finna get into it, but check this out as we get in.
We've got to do better at education. People don't understand, but you will understand when those hospitals in rural America down even more. You will understand when you don't have your Social Security.
Somebody want to break the news to her? Hey, I'm just saying, does somebody want to break the news to her?
You will understand when your Medicaid, your Medicare goes away. You will understand as planes continue to fall out of the sky. Soon.
Does somebody want to tell her?
You will understand why it's important to maybe have somebody that is.
Soon you will understand. You walked inside to buy a wig and they sold out. Yeah. Sold out. You got to go all natural, baby girl. Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday. Can you do it, baby girl? Can you do it? The queen of the ghetto says soon we will understand.
Isn't loud and ridiculous, and maybe Sleepy Joe is what we wanted because we could at least sleep at night.
Did she really just say that live on air? They need to shut this show down, man. They need to just terminate ABC terminate it all, man. There's no way she just said this live on air. And he wasn't even running the country, on vacation. Put the people last, spit on the people, left them in the dark. Gonna go down as one of the worst presidents ever. One of the worst administrations. And they ought to throw everybody in jail. Put your hands behind your back and just walk everybody out.
To maybe have somebody that isn't loud and ridiculous, and maybe Sleepy Joe is what we understand why it's important to maybe have somebody that isn't loud and ridiculous. And
Dallas, Texas, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Texas. And this is why Democrats won't ever win again. This is why they lost.
Oh, Jasmine Crockett, Ayanna Presley, what's that old lady name? Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters probably initiated Jasmine Crockett and Ayanna Presley and those other black female lawmakers into some real shady business. And that's why they're so loud right now. Because whatever was being done, whatever those other lawmakers were doing, when these loudmouth banshees came in and joined that club, those lawmakers made sure that these loudmouth women did it even more aggressively than they were doing it, as to not ever worry about them loudmouth ass women blowing the whistle on them. Are y'all following what I'm saying? So when Jasmine Crockett, Ayanna Pressley, Ilhan Omar, probably even AOC, because she got a loud mouth too, when they joined in this lawmakers club, I'm sure those lawmakers were terrified that these women would blow up their spot. So they put them on game. They put them on to what they were doing, how they were laundering the money, how they were funneling our tax dollars into these offshore accounts. Why? Not because they cared about these women at all. It was to safeguard their own interests. There's no way that these women could ever blow the whistle on them, tell on them, if they are even more guilty. That's how in 2 years, with a $174,000 salary, you go from having a net worth of $40,000 to having a net worth of $9 million and owning multiple million-dollar homes.
That's what. And what did I just say? What have I said these last couple videos? Hundreds of videos we've done. What have y'all been saying? The exact same thing. But I'm glad we're having these conversations. I'm glad it's all being exposed. It's all being brought out into the spotlight. I'm glad, y'all. And these people need to be audited, expelled from Congress, removed, and then thrown in jail, thrown in the slammer, and let them sit in there and look at the wall. Put your hands behind your back.
They are committing illegal activity. And when the ish hits the fan, those women are going to be the first ones convicted. I'm telling y'all what I know. It's all right there. It's all very obvious. They're so dumb. They're so stupid for participating. They're so dumb. And that's what they get. They about to get what's coming to them, and I can't wait.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our We will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Look at Sunny Holston had to get her a little a kiss and a hug in. Why Sunny Holston? Because she's a black woman? Is that why? She's a black woman? Disgrace, man.
Giving them hell.
I don't know about that. They're giving me hell, honey.
Yeah, but you give it right back to them. A lot of them don't do that.
Absolutely. It's a must in this environment, though, right? Because they will steamroll right over you. And unfortunately, we see that ever since day one, baby, that pen been going and it ain't stopped. And it's steamrolling over all of our rights and our liberties and our freedoms and everything that
Women, what rights have you lost? Can anybody tell me what rights and freedoms you lost? Somebody, please. Oh, this lady here, man. And I'll tell you, Dallas, Texas ought to be ashamed of itself, man. And this is one of these ladies I really want to be made an example out of. Live on air, being walked out with her hands behind her back. You know, rough her up a little bit. Maybe snatch her wig off. I don't know. Rough her up a little. Frisk her down a little bit. Please.
we thought was the foundation of this country, our Constitution. Yes. Seems like we're saying
make both eyelashes, make the glue melt. Get her in the hot sun. Get her good. Yeah.
Nope. With a pen, get rid of the Constitution. With a pen, get rid of impoundment and other laws that exist.
Do you think that Americans just didn't believe that he would go with that Project 2025? Or what? What was that? I mean, he said, I don't even know what it is. Remember?
Oh, I remember, honey.
Yeah.
I remember there was actually a hearing that we had in oversight, and it was right after he said, oh, I know nothing about that Project 2025.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we had a witness, and I mentioned that his name was mentioned 312 times.
Yes.
In Project 2025.
Yes.
So I was like, this is interesting. He don't know nothing about it, but he's all through it.
I don't know if it's his name. He's riveted to it.
No. And he's relying on the people that absolutely pulled it together.
Like J.D. Vance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I mean, I think that there are those that just said, I want to do something different. And so we know that typically when people are feeling it, especially in the economy, they tend to just go the other way. The problem is that this wasn't the guy to fix anything. This is the guy that is the king of breaking things, as we can see.
Yeah. Well, Congresswoman, Elon
Yeah, make the audience clap.
Musk and Doge, the team, have been infiltrating and dismantling federal agencies. He says he's rooted.
This Trump derangement syndrome and Musk derangement syndrome it's something, man. But the queen of the ghetto, I know it's just so much I want to say, and I want to say something right now so bad, but they might just take my video down, man. I got to be careful, and we do get the censorship is still here and it's still real, even on this platform. I gotta watch my words. Yeah, they I'm telling you, man.
Rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, all while gaining access to some of our most sensitive data. So you sit on the Doge subcommittee run by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Are you getting any more clarity on what exactly Elon and Doge are doing?
She can't even get the question out. Listen, interestingly enough, there was a court filing that came out, or there was the order that came out from Judge Chuckin yesterday, right? And one of the things that the White House and the DOJ is currently saying is that, Elon has no power.
Yeah.
Elon isn't doing that.
He's not an employee, and he doesn't head the agency.
Right.
He's tech support, I think is what they say.
So who's lying is my question. But somebody lying, right? Because they've been like, Elon is cleaning it up, right? So someone's not telling the truth. And I hope that the lawyers are the ones that are telling the truth, because there is a higher standard when it comes to practicing law. This is why Donald Trump's lawyers tend to lose their law licenses.
Yeah.
But, I don't really know what's going on. And that is why the attorney general's really had a hard time meeting that burden for TRO, is because we can't say exactly what he's doing. But the problem is we've never in this country, at least in my lifetime and in most other people's lifetimes, experienced someone who is so ingrained. And so we're going to have to start talking to some of these people that are getting fired. Yeah. And we're going to have to find out from them, who is it that told you that you were experiencing your last day at work? Yeah. Talk to us about these little teenagers running around. Was it one of them?
Well, they're doing it through OPM.
Yeah.
Because I have friends that work there, and they got the notice, and they got it from the Office of Personnel Management.
Yeah.
And so, but Doge told OPM to do
right,
it.
and that's what we've got to get to the heart of.
I can testify to that. I know all about that. But let me ask you this, Congresswoman. We're also seeing mass firings of federal workers across agencies like the Department of Education, the VA, the CDC, the FAA, even the USDA. In some cases, they've had to unfire critical employees like our nuclear safety specialists, but they didn't have their government email addresses active anymore, so they can't find them. So on what grounds I know you can't make it up, it's like I'm writing a movie. On what grounds are they laying, a very bad movie, on what grounds are they laying off these workers, and how will the scale of this impact everyday workers who are concerned about the price of their eggs?
And nuclear arsenals.
Yeah, so here's the deal. I don't really know what authority they have to do anything.
Yes.
I walked in, and I didn't get to read the entire article, but earlier today, it seems like there is someone who was fired that was the head of an agency, and a judge ruled that firing was illegal. People seem to be surprised that the first felon that we ever elected to the White House commits crimes, but, or breaks the law.
Right.
Breaks the law, but clearly he has.
I'm ready to click off. I'm ready to get out of here, y'all. I can't. I don't know if I can take any more either, y'all. This woman's a disgrace, man. People are pathetic, liars. And this woman here they ought to walk this woman out, man, live with her hands behind her back. We know who the actual criminals are. And we know who's the thieves.
Has no respect for the law whatsoever. And so for the most
We know who don't have no respect for the law whatsoever, ma'am.
part, it seems like they've been going after probationary people because probationary employees do not enjoy the same protections.
They lack some protections.
Exactly. Yep. And so, it'll be interesting to see where the unions go with some of these lawsuits and how successful they are. But again, ultimately, I think that he's trying to get to his favorite court, the court that we know we all love to hate. Yeah. The highest court. I think he's trying to get there and hoping to get some cover for all the nonsense. After all, this is the same court that gave him immunity so that he could go out and do some of the illegal things that he's doing.
Do you think they have a limit, though, the court?
You know what? I keep trying to point people to the TikTok decision. Not necessarily because of the subject matter, but more so because basically they said, no, this was signed into law. And in a 9-0 decision, they would not allow him to unilaterally overturn it. So we will see how well they hold up. But we know that this administration keeps threatening judges. If a judge hands down a decision that they don't like, they talk about impeaching that judge and getting rid of that judge. And they won't be able to get rid of these judges because the standard is too high. But he may end up telling some of those Supreme Court justices that are his, it's time for you to go. Yeah. And they potentially will leave because he did that last time.
Well, I want to ask you about Democrats. You're obviously leading next generation voice in the Democratic Party. And while Trump is moving at this breakneck pace, it feels like signing all these EOs, doing these long-ranging press conferences in the Oval Office, Democrats seem to not be getting their footing on what the message and strategy is to push back. We think of the leaders chanting, "We will win" outside of Treasury, which was widely panned. You've talked about Democrats needing a branding overhaul. Are you satisfied with the approach so far? And what do they need to do to kind of get their mojo back?
You know what?
And I somewhat, that might be the only good question. And of course, it comes from Alyssa Farr Griffin. Let's see how she answers this. But people are done with this Democratic Party. People are done with these Democrats, man. And they all need to be walked out with their hands behind their back.
I think that just like the rest of the world, we've got a bit of whiplash because for some people, even those that voted for him, they said, well, we've been here before and we didn't fall apart the last time he was here, so we won't fall apart this time. And so I think that while we had the playbook right there for us, Project 2025, I still think that even some Democrats were like, oh, well, he's just going to do what he did last time. And he's not. World leaders are recognizing that he's not the same. I mean, he's 10 times worse. And imagine that. This is the guy that oversaw how many deaths during COVID, right? And now we had...
And then we pull the COVID card. And if I go on about and if I respond to that, this video might be 30-50 minutes long. I'm not even gonna go there, man. But I'm gonna let her pull the COVID card.
Ebola breakout. Now we've got measles breakout. This is bird flu because they were some of the other people that got fired.
The USDA fired.
And he's like, oh well, wait a minute. Like this is just literally not even partisanship, in my opinion, at this point. This is incompetence, and I think that
this is incompetence. Now it's incompetence. This woman right here said Joe Biden is as sharp as a tack. This woman right here.
No, seriously, it's incompetence. And I know earlier y'all was talking about bring back the Bushes. I'm with you, honey. Like, listen, I mean,
that was some sense of normalcy, democratic norms.
And I keep saying
one thing: would you support Democrats shutting down the government as a bargaining chip to push back against the White House?
It's not. We don't have the power to shut the government down.
Well, to refuse to vote for funding bills.
I absolutely support that we should not be voting for this funding bill because this funding bill is going to gut the things that we care about. And I don't believe that we can enter into good faith negotiations with people that literally could care less about their word. We saw what happened with the continuing resolution that kept the government open until March 14th because Elon sent out a tweet that changed the trajectory of negotiations that had taken place with duly elected members of the House, the Senate, as well as the president. So my concern is this guy has decided that after monies were appropriated to literally turn off the spigot of money just at will because he wanted to do it. Who's to say that if we enter into good faith negotiations and we get some of the things that we feel like are good for the American people, that he won't just do what he wants to do and ignore the stuff he doesn't want to do. So I don't think that we should be voting for this. They have a Trump trifecta. Y'all better figure it out.
You've earned a reputation for some calling out certain Republican antics. We all remember the viral bleach, blonde, bad-built, butch body moment with Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. And last month, things took quite a turn when you confronted Congresswoman Nancy.
Marjorie Taylor... Jasmine, you stand no chance. She's doing pull-ups right now in her garage, ma'am. She's a true patriot. She is doing push-ups and pull-ups right now in the garage. Yeah. And they say Nancy Mace keep one in the chamber.
Mace over her anti-trans rhetoric. Let's see the clip.
Somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, so that people.
I can't see this ghetto crap. Her strings and weave and wig is all over. She's swinging it and move. I can't, man. I can't. I just can't, man. I'm ready for this video to be over with, man. I'm sick of this. She done ghetto-fied Congress, man. This one was a disgrace. You've made it even more into a laughing stock, man. Ghetto-fied Congress. The queen of the ghetto. People can't even take you serious. And she has a net worth over millions and millions of dollars. This woman needs to be just thrown in jail, man. She needs to be audited. She needs to be walked out live on air. And take AOC, take that other lady. They need to deport her, Ilhan Omar. They need to deport her. Yeah, they need to take tons of individuals with you, because they also give you a run for your money.
Chairman, I'm reclaiming my time.
You will not do that.
Order.
I'm reclaiming my time.
I'm sure when she said that, she was just offering to go for coffee or something. But we understand that you received a very unnerving call after some of this.
I did. Obviously, we get tons of calls from lots of haters all the time, but there was actually someone who works for another sitting member of Congress that called from that congressional office to our office to try to basically say, yeah, I want to put money on this. I want them to go outside. That is completely inappropriate. Yeah. And I don't really care.
Yeah, and you would have definitely got dragged. We'd have dragged you straight out your wig, ma'am. We would have dragged you straight out your wig. And I know some patriots would have paid good money for that footage. Y'all get it? Please get that footage.
What side of the aisle? It is threatening, and I don't care what side of the aisle you come from, but it should never be okay for a staffer, and it wasn't okay for her either. I do want to point out that we are living in a time in which, people on the outside are following their lead, but instead of Nancy Mace challenging me to go outside to fight, what she should be fighting for is a better economy, especially for those in South Carolina that are about to feel it. Yeah.
What were you fighting for these last couple of years, ma'am? And now you got all this money. See, this why I can't, man. I just can't. I can't with this lady, man. I really can't.
And quickly, because we're short on time, that kind of gets to my next question, which is, for all of the criticisms that exist of Donald Trump, he right now has a 53% approval rating. It's higher than it's ever been. 70% believe that he's fulfilling his promises.
Oh, thank you, Alyssa. Thank you. Give her a reality check. His approval rating is skyrocketing. Give her a reality check, Alyssa.
And 45% believe Democrats should be more moderate. What do you take away? I think there's a lot to make of those numbers. What's your takeaway from that?
My takeaway is just like the election. We've got to do better at education. People don't understand. But you will understand when those hospitals in rural America start closing down even more. You will understand when you don't have your Social Security. You will understand when your Medicaid, your Medicare goes away. You will understand
You will understand when you walk inside the beauty salon and they ran out of wigs and extensions and eyebrows and eyelashes and makeup is no longer on the shelf. Well, you will understand now.
Planes continue to fall out of the sky. Soon you will understand why it's important.
Blame Trump for planes falling out the sky. When we already been through this in the cuts and in the FFA, we've been through. I'm not gonna be on here repeating myself, man. I really ain't. You know, when you got CEOs of these airlines coming out and saying that none of this is Trump's fault, and they've actually done a great job, the Trump administration. Airline CEOs, ma'am, as y'all continue to try to blame Trump. Plane comes down in Canada, it's Trump's fault. Plane goes down in Jamaica, Trump's fault. Plane goes down in Australia, Trump's fault. Something happens outside the United States, Trump's fault. You fall down the stairs, crack your hip, Trump's fault.
To maybe have somebody that isn't loud and ridiculous, and maybe Sleepy Joe is what we wanted because we could at least sleep at night.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Sleepy Joe was what we wanted because we can at least sleep at night. If this ain't the ignorantest, I just, man.